First of all, thank you all, and probably it's the last day that I'm going to see you after tomorrow. And then we all go on holiday. Just a quick reflection. I think it's been a long journey again, and a very challenging one this season, but I think that we have come a long way as a club. And as a team, I think we have transformed the energy, the vibe, and the expectation of this football club again. And we've done together, showing incredible unity between the staff, the players, everybody involved at the club, and especially with our people, which has been incredibly supportive throughout the season, especially in difficult moments. And now I can sense that I have the hope and the expectations to move this club to the place that it deserves. We've done it the way we predicted, with the project that we set a year ago, with a lot of young players, with the senior players helping, and with our crowds again in our stadium, and with a real sense of connections around the place. So we are back in Europe. We don't know where. Tomorrow it will be decided. Hopefully it will be Champions League, because I believe that tomorrow we're going to do what we have to do, and we are going to be cheering for Norwich to do what they can do, for sure. And after that, we're going to take the club to the next level. And that's the ambition. In order to do that, we have a very clear plan again, how we want to do it and execute it. And it's no secrets. We need resources, and we need to increase the quality and the depth of the squad, as long as the same way maintain who we are as a club, and the people that we have next to us. And that's going to be the challenge the following season. But hopefully tomorrow, in front of our people, we can live another great day. So I leave it up to you guys.
Paul. Mikel, how do you rate the chances of Arsenal and Norwich victories this weekend?
Very possible. And looking back, I've been back a few years and see a few examples of teams that they played in the last season and things that happened. And the closer the game is, I am more hopeful.
Listening to you speak there, obviously Arsenal have finished 8th in the last 2 seasons, so 5th place, if it does come to that, would be obvious progress. Is that the way you're seeing it? And do you think the fact that you were 6 or 7 points ahead, sort of clear of 5th place at one stage, is that where the negativity is coming from? And how do you think it happened from that situation?
It's because we have created expectations that this club deserves and this club has to be, and in the last 2 matches we haven't been able to fulfill those expectations. But overall, looking back where we were, you have to be clear as well with what we have to do, but very clear that this is not where we want to be, that we want to be in a completely different position, challenging really for the top teams, and that's the aim, and that this is not going to stop here, that is another step, that it was very necessary, because it wasn't only about where we are in the league table. We have much deeper issues at the club than the league table, in my opinion, that now they have been resolved, that now they look very, very strong, and that we have the real strong foundations now to build what we want to do.
What kind of a response was there from you and the players to the comments from Xhaka after the Newcastle game, his honest comments after that match?
What we do in the dressing room, we don't comment it, but the moment you allow a person to be in front of a microphone is to express what their feelings are. And granted, is someone that's in front of the microphone, in front of your eyes, and in your face, so it's nothing different.
You mentioned resources there at the start. How confident are you will get the resources needed to turn Arsenal into that?
We are going to have certain resources, no unlimited resources, certain resources, and with those resources we have to play and do what we have to do in the best possible way. We don't know what the rest they're going to have in terms of resources, which I'm assuming that obviously going to be challenging, because now it's not a top 3 or a top 4 league, now it's a top 8 or 10 teams that are involved there. But that's why we have to find the way to do again what we did last summer.
From a coach's perspective, how far away do you feel the team is from challenging Champions League on a regular basis?
There I go back to what the league table is saying. And the league table doesn't lie after 38 games. And the league table says that we are very far still about the first and second position, not only in points, but in goal difference. And that's the level that we have to try to aim and reach.
The young Brazilian winger Marquinhos is reportedly in London to finalise a move to Arsenal. Can you tell us anything about that? Is that as advanced?
No, when there is a player to announce in the next few weeks, we will be dealing with that, and Mark is in charge of that, so you can ask him the question. He's here next to me.
And just a final one, away from this game, Patrick Vieira was obviously in the headlines last night, and another pitch invasion incident, the same at Port Vale, the same with Billy Sharp, the Sheffield United player. Have you got a view on what it's going to take to stop that, and how worried do you think managers and players are about it?
That we have to stop it, and we have to minimize the risk and the exposure of players and staff in this situation, because you cannot control it, and when you cannot control a situation and there is so many people involved in any event, then becomes dangerous, and we have to do something about it.
Hi Mikel, if it is to be 5th place, can you take some satisfaction from the improvement in the league position, even though there'll be disappointment if it's not 4th?
Well, probably tomorrow I can answer the question better, because today I'm focusing on winning the match and hoping that we can still achieve the Champions League.
If it was to be 5th, do you think fans maybe need a bit of perspective though? Disappointment that you're not in the Champions League, but there has been improvement?
We tried to explain things, and we did try to explain things last year and what we were going to expect, and I think it's very clear and obvious. We are not where we should be as a club, because this club's history tells us to be the best in this country, and we are not there. But we have to get there somehow, and that needs a journey, and that needs certain amount of time and windows. If you are not able to do in one window what you want to do in 4, and that takes time.
And one of the things you've spoken about being happy with is the development of the club, especially the young players that have come through.
Everybody, the development of the culture at the club, development of the people, and how they live their profession at the club. The connection we have, everybody inside the organization, players with the staff, with ownership, with board, and obviously what is unquestionable is what you see and the atmosphere that we play at home and away with our fans, which the people has been here for 10 years said that they haven't lived that connection in that period. So I think that's something to be extremely proud as well, and that's credit to everybody involved at the club.
Looking at Everton, what did you make of their turnaround against Palace last night?
I was watching it yesterday, and that gives me more encouraging about what can happen in the last day at Norwich, because this happens only in this league, and this is what it makes this league such an incredible league, because in many other countries, when there is nothing to play for, you don't see that type of performances. So we are hoping that something special can happen.
The pressure will be off Everton now. Is that a good thing or a bad thing for you going into Sunday, do you think?
Well, playing the last game against a team that can be relegated, obviously mentally is very tough, because you know the consequences. You are a professional, but they are your colleagues, and nobody wants to be in that position. So yeah, you get a little bit of relief in that sense.
And just finally from me, what did you learn from the defeat at Everton earlier on this season, when they came from behind in that one, obviously?
Well, what different things that you learn in every football match that you learn. It was obviously a match that we had in some control in some phases, that we lost control. Obviously, we know where we did it, we analysed it, and tomorrow hopefully is different.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thank you.
James?
Mikel, Granit suggested in that interview, and I'm sorry for the language here, but he said that some of his teammates didn't have the balls to play for Arsenal. Is that accurate?
Well, you have to ask the question to him exactly what he meant or who was pointing at. The comments are clear, and then it's down to, okay, who is directed to, if it's somebody or if himself.
Did he overstep the mark in that interview?
I prefer today not to comment too much on that, but when you allow people to speak in front of the media, you have to allow them to say what they feel. And unquestionably, and knowing Granit, that's what he felt.
Is that something you've talked to him about since Monday?
We always talk.
Just finally, for me, just looking ahead to the summer in general, City have bought Haaland, United are going to have a new manager, Chelsea are probably going to have a new owner, Conte apparently wants 6 players at Spurs. How competitive is this transfer market going to be in general? I
think the league has never been that competitive. So the numbers that you could produce 6 years ago in this league, today you are out of Europe. It's as simple as that. So we know that, and the plan that we have is in order to be able to compete with these teams. But we don't know which resources other teams they have to be. We know that all the teams are already starting from a different position because they are in a different moment. But we still need to have the aim to do that, because if you don't, where do you end up? Just looking back, I don't want to do that. So we will need to find ways to be able to compete with them like we have done this season, because nobody expected us to do, or with the squad that we had, the expectation that we had.
You spent, I think, 140 million last summer. Have you got the resources to spend a similar amount this summer?
It's not only about that amount. If you see the wages that we have and we had, is night and day. So it's not about what you're spending, it's about what you have sold, what you have done. We had 28 players, and then we end up with 19 players in the squad. So it's about the total overall expenditure, because that figure, if not, is completely irrelevant, because what is the total annual cost of the squad that you are building?
Thank you.
Paul? Yeah. Sorry, Mikel, just one more. Gary Lineker has tweeted that he's hearing there's a food poisoning outbreak at Tottenham, and that he's not joking. I just wondered if you had any thoughts on that?
I don't know anything about it. I don't know. I have no clue. What can I comment?
Charles.
Hi, Mikel. There's obviously been a lot of sort of focus on what Arsenal did or didn't do in the January transfer window since Monday. Do you look back on that now and think you maybe got it wrong, the approach to the January window, in terms of pushing the club on for a top four spot?
No.
Does what you didn't do in January put you in a much stronger position for this summer when it comes to the...
Everything that we did, it was trying to reach the objective that we had after January, where it was to try to be challenging that top four, and what was the way that we were going to do it, and financially be stable and be in a position that coming January or coming the summer, we could allow ourselves to do certain things and don't be completely locked.
But would you have wanted to do something in January? Did you try and were sort of told from above?
Yeah, if you give me 6 players, I go in the transfer market and you bring me these 6 players. In the summer as well, we can do that and have 25 players to select, the best 3 strikers in the world. Bring them here. I will coach them. I will be so happy to coach them.
One last one.
Hi, Mikel. I know you mentioned at the start the foundations in terms of like style of play, and everyone's kind of seen that grow throughout the season. One trend, I guess, has been sometimes when that control's been disrupted early on, it takes a while to kind of respond to that. I was wondering, is that an experience thing or something else in terms of coming up with solutions?
It can be a lot of factors, and it's how we deal with moments when we lose that control and we are able to reset and take the game into the direction that we want, and finding different ways in order to do that. It's down to that. It's about the leadership of the team. It's about the understanding of certain situations in the game, not to continue to put the game into that mood, I would say, and we're always working on it.
Is that, so that mood, would it be like more emotional decisions coming into play, or would it be...
Sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's about the structure, sometimes about the first pass that we pick to make to provoke certain things, sometimes about in which territory we want to play the next 5 minutes, and it's more related to game management. It's for different reasons. It's really difficult to pick just a thing.
Thanks, Art. That's the end of the broadcast.